So hello everyone. Thank you for joining us in the 9th webinar of Filaha Innovation Program. For this week, we will discuss the topic of entrepreneurship in agriculture with our professor Liamani Abdurrahman. Actually, Liamani Abdurrahman is a senior consultant in agricultural development. He completed his PhD studies in Iowa State University in USA. Then he conducted research studies mainly on cereals and food legumes for over 20 years. And in parallel, he had the opportunity to manage and coordinate several collaborative research and technology transfer projects and programs with different organizations such as ICARDA, UNDP, CIMMIT, etc. And he also was appointed in important positions in the National Institute of Research and Agronomy as head of the scientific division and head of plant protection scientific department, etc. And currently, after many years working with the OCP Foundation, he is currently conducting consulting work with the UM6P. So thank you, Professor Abdulrahman, for accepting our invitation today, and we are looking forward this webinar. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Manel. Can we share the screen, please?
Yes.
Yeah, is it okay?
Yes, we can see your screen. Perfect.
Okay, okay, hello everybody from my hometown, Kenitra. I am very honored to be a part of this wonderful Filaha Innovation Program. And for today, we'll be talking about entrepreneurship in agriculture. This is a very important issue. It's quite an issue which is not quite discussed in the academic world. In my presentation, we'll be talking about farmers becoming entrepreneurs. And in this, I will be talking about addressing first what is being an entrepreneur, then why do we need entrepreneurs in agriculture, why is being an entrepreneur, what is being an entrepreneur in agriculture, and also we'll be talking about farmer entrepreneur. Then we will look at why we need to focus really on farmer entrepreneur in the first stage. We'll be covering also what type of farming we are talking about. We'll go through also the phases of the development of business, then look at the barriers to entrepreneurship, challenges, increase and how to increase business incomes in entrepreneurship, and by the end we'll conclude about all my presentation. What is being a really entrepreneur is really it's a way of life. Really, it's a way you have to see like that, and also it's a way to enjoy independence and freedom, because you can decide for yourself and do what you want to do. And also it is a way to create wealth and employment opportunities for yourself and for your country. But also an entrepreneur has also to accept to face risks, because entrepreneurship is full of risks indeed. To work under pressure, to be directly accountable for the outcome, good or bad, of your decisions. And also you have to take risk, personal risk. You could effectively use your assets as a whole. Why do we need entrepreneurs in agriculture? This is a good and great question. Agriculture is the pillar of the economy of African countries. It weighs around 30% of our GDP and employs 60% of the working population. However, agriculture sector is behind when it comes to productivity. Our land productivity is still low. And also we are behind to satisfying the needs of our population as a whole. We do import a lot of foods from outside. The capacity of African farmers to create wealth and prosperity is the key to a successful agriculture in Africa. Without African farmers, you cannot really achieve you cannot do good job in your agriculture. African farmers, especially smallholders, do not view their agricultural production activity as a business, like other sectors of the economy. Thus, the development of the sector requires a profound revision of our perception of what is the farm, which should be looked at as a business. Really is a food business where we make profit and we produce and sell in the market. Who is an entrepreneur in agriculture in general? Who is he? He should be someone who is passionate about and enjoy farming and or working with farmers. This is really a special sector. It's really different from industry and others. He is market oriented and aware that his success depends on the profit he is generating from the business. He is also passionate about growing his business and constantly looking for new opportunities to improve and develop his business also. He is someone who likes to take calculated risks. There has to be calculated risk to open or create new market for his product. He should be he should have an entrepreneurial spirit. This cannot be taught really. The spirit is there. It's with us. He has to have all the technical skills related to his activity, whether it is farming or other activities. He has also to have the necessary management skills to be able to manage and to have a successful business. When it comes to a farmer or entrepreneur, we need to have some additional traits. A farmer entrepreneur usually focuses his activity mainly on land cropping or livestock breeding to sell agriculture, and he sells agricultural product to market to meet the consumer consumer requirements. A farmer or an entrepreneur farmer also sees his farm is a business and a source of making profit. He is responsible for the rational management of the natural resources at his disposal. He is the only one really who is using and exploiting natural resources like soil, water, and the environment. And his actions are very important to conserve these resources. A farmer entrepreneur should be also technically competent and aware of the newest best agricultural technology on the floor. He should have also the capacity to manage the risks of climate change. This is very important, the climate change, and also he should be able to anticipate in terms of management and sustainable growth of his business. Why we need really to focus on farm agriculture? I think that the farmer agriculture is really the starting point of all agricultural activities. He grows his crop or crops, raises his livestock, using inputs and selling his product to the market. He is really the central point of it. He is indeed the central spindle of the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem in agriculture, including support services, suppliers, inputs and equipment, suppliers of input and equipment, storage and packaging units, trade and market services. The farmer entrepreneur, especially the small one, is at present the weakest hope of the value chain. He needs attention at all levels, including regulation, support services, financing, social protection, specific incentive, and institutional recognition. For these reasons, we are going to focus thereafter on the farmer entrepreneur as a key player of entrepreneurship in agriculture. First, let's look at what are the different type of farmings we are talking about. We have mainly 4 types of farming. Farming primarily for market, farming primarily for market with some home consumption, farming primarily for home consumption marketing, but marketing some surplus, and the last one really when you are farming exclusively for your home consumption. When you are farming for farmers for exclusively for home consumption, they are often these farmers are struggling with basic survivals of their families and they lack means and resources. They are rarely in the position to commit themselves to entrepreneurial tasks. So this group will not be considered when it comes to entrepreneurship. The first group is when we are farming primarily for home consumptions, and you market some extra production. These farmers have enough resources to produce beyond just surviving. Sometimes they are viewed as pre-entrepreneurs, close to reality to become entrepreneurs. They are not entrepreneurs in the true sense, neither are they truly market-oriented. This group of farmers need additional resources to move into a more market-oriented business. The third group is when you are farming primarily for market with some home consumptions. These farmers understand very well the value of farming for the market. They are still concerned with securing family food requirements, waiting for greater certainty of income from cash crops. And also, they are often limited by access to finance, labor, and market information. The last group is the one who are really cropping or producing for the market. These farmers, they are fully market oriented. They are interested in profit and not in food production. They may need great farm management and entrepreneurial skills. To move forward and promote entrepreneurship in farming, we need to differentiate between producers and focus and put our focus on where greater chances of success are. When it comes to farmers, we have large producers, organizations, or groups. Those are they are market oriented, fully market oriented. They are efficient in management, and they make good or high profit. Those will not need any help, any further help. You have another group of big individual farmers. Those I will divide them into 3 groups. One group who is highly market oriented, efficient in management, and do very good profits. This group will not need help and will not be considered in our work to improve entrepreneurship in agriculture. The second group, we have big farmers who are market oriented, but they have some weakness in the management of their system, and they make medium to low profits. Group 3 is also the same as 2, and these two groups, 2 and 3, within big and big groups, need to be helped, and we can make some progress with them. When it comes to medium farmers, here we have a group. So the first group will be highly market oriented, efficient in management, and high. But I wonder this group will be not much great. Should be really low in number. The second group is the medium. They are market oriented, but at some extent they have some low or weak management system, and they make low to medium profit. The third group within the medium farmers are the ones who are not yet market oriented, and their management system is really weak, and the profit are also low. The group 2 and 3 within medium farmers could be part of our development program of entrepreneurship in agriculture. Small farmers, unfortunately, they cannot go to market, and also they lack all the means to be entrepreneurs. When it comes to farmer entrepreneur businesses, we have to recognize that they go through some five steps or phases of growth. We have the establishment phase, the survival phase, early growth phase, rapid phase, and maturity phase. When it comes to establishment of the business, starting a new enterprise shows that the farmer has some entrepreneurial skills. He is only willing to do something. Helping factors are to go through this phase. Helping factors to go through this phase are availability of resources and basic business skills, easy access to market, and a supportive surrounding environment. Some enterprise will stay at this level. They will stay at this level and they will not move to survival because of lack of means or over opportunities. The survival phase, the focus is on the relationship between the income earned and the cost involved. We start making some balances. We need to generate enough income to break even in the short term. We have really to not to lose money at this point of time, and generate enough incomes to think of expanding the business in the midterm. We need to market. Here we need to meet market demands and start enlarging client phase. By the end of this phase, really you need to look at the market and look at finding some larger client base. When the third phase is early growth, you start the business start growing, and for this reason you will need to enlarge the client base enough through good quality diversified product. You have to produce good quality diversified product. Ensure that farm operations are efficient and up to date. Use the best production practices in line with market requirements, and hire skilled staff to cope with increasing production, marketing, and management. And also to ensure that your farm remains profitable after all. The first growth phase is rapid growth, where once the farm is allowing sustainable reasonable profit, it is in a position where it can move to rapid growth. Possible ways to achieve rapid growth are: you have to sell more products, increasing productivity by either by increasing productivity or by extending your capital of farming. You have also, or another way to do it is to add value to your products, either by processing, packaging, or transformation of your products. During the rapid growth stage, the farmers has to make the best use of new technologies and tools, improve his communication and information tools, and last, increase his entrepreneurial and management skills. The fifth phase is maturity. Here, the farm business reaches a point of balance where land size, market opportunities, and the scope of activities are in balance with the skills and the vision of the farmer. Production process at this stage is well controlled. You have a good flow access to market. Your staff is happy and well motivated. Farm management is cost effective, and enterprise is profitable for all. However, a successful farm business will still face challenges and barriers, and the farmer needs to be innovative in developing adaptive strategies to ensure that his farm business remains profitable and sustainable. Now, let's look at some barriers to entrepreneurship in agriculture or in farming in this case. Often there are barriers outside the control of the farmer that limit success and make the environment hard for the new business. Some of them are, or the major of them are, you have mindset, social barriers, lack of financial support, lack of extension services and trained staff, unsupportive legal and regulatory framework, marketing constraints, and poor or absent of infrastructures. If we start by the mindset is a barrier, most farmers are born and live in a family of farmers who carry on ancestral cultural habits and traditions without any or limited opening up to the new origins. Rural youth born in this context, in farming family, are not exposed to modern concepts of entrepreneurship and new technologies. These young people need to have an innovative mindset that would allow them to come up with new ideas and create new opportunities for the improvement of their living conditions. Rural youth, young people in general, should be a driving force to agricultural development, entrepreneurship, if we want to build and build their capacity and skills. The first barrier is unsupportive laws and regulations. This is very important. The ability to buy, sell, or hire land, the complexity of business regulations, the extent of administrative procedures, all affect the environment in which new farm business has to operate. Banking laws, trading regulations, business and tax laws, customs regulations are some of the more common barriers that limit the development of successful farm business. Last, legal status of farming business, incentives to farming, a positive view of the entrepreneurship in farming are actions that make it easier for farming business development. Also, the third one is poor or absent infrastructures. Basic infrastructure is often a blocking factor for starting growing profitable farm business. Simple things such as poor roads to reach the farm or the market, inadequate storage and market facilities, irregular supplies of electricity, These create very real barriers to developing farm business. Fourth one is lack of financial support. This is financing is sometimes a constraint. Farmers who are starting a new business often face difficulties in raising investment capital. Lack of access to finance is a major stumbling block for many farmers to have to diversify and produce high-value commodities. Lack of extension services and trained staff may also be a barrier. Extension services are needed to support farmers in all aspects of running a profitable, market-oriented farming business. Often, there is a lack or not enough farming advisors to deal with the range of issues and questions faced by farmers entrepreneurs. Lack of adequate training facilities and research and development platforms jeopardize farmers' access to innovation and agri-technologies. The sixth barrier has to deal with social aspects. The concept of entrepreneurship is not common to every culture or society in the continent, and therefore the fear of failure can be a first barrier. Creativity and innovation are sometimes not valued skills. Some countries have social systems that create dependence and discourage self-reliance. Women in business are often discouraged. Access to bank loans may not be encouraged for some religious or cultural considerations. Marketing constraints also might be barriers. When running a farm business, production must always be linked to market. Access to market is often constrained by poor communication, infrastructure and marketing facilities, lack of reliable and timely market information, limited purchasing power, and even negative attitude of the buyers. Farmer entrepreneurs often have low bargaining power with customers, and are often forced to accept low prices for their products. It is indeed the responsibility of policymakers to address these barriers and provide an environment that supports farm business. However, with or without this assistance, farmers should not give up. The farmers can take the lead by recognizing the qualities they possess, get trainings, and think and act as entrepreneurs. They also have to be ready to overcome challenges which may hamper their business. Coming to the challenges facing farmer entrepreneur, some of them are market-related risks, access to finance, access to information, and vulnerability to shocks. When it comes to market-related risks, farmers live in an environment that is risky, really risky. Markets do not always function well. They are dynamic and diverse and are not completely predictable. Producing for export has greater risk, and the results can be disastrous if the world market price falls. Producing for a local market has less risks, but the prices are often low and therefore less profit. The risk increases when the farmer produces exclusively for one market. Coming to access to finance and credit is a challenge. A market-oriented farm will require funding, either for equipment or operational costs, transport, or adding value to your product. Farmers often cannot get credit because they lack the required collaterals, they have no credit history, or their income are too low to get credit. Besides access to credit, farmers, entrepreneurs also need a clear understanding of how credit works, particularly payment and interest. They need to understand the difference between credit for longer term investment and credit for short-term operation cost. You also need skills and experience in negotiating fair contract with their partners. Access to information is another challenge. A healthy and profitable business needs a wide range of information. Information needs include technologies, prices, contacts, market policies, business management. Existing information systems are often weak and difficult to access and do not provide the information you need in a way that are helpful to farmers entrepreneurs. Radio, posters, leaflets, and learning groups can help farmers access to the information they need to be successful entrepreneurs. Vulnerability to economic shocks is very also important challenge. Emerging entrepreneur farmers are often vulnerable to rapid economic changes, such as unexpected low yield or crop failure, changes in price for input and product, additional market requirement. Such changes may make the difference between profit and loss for the farm business. Farmers run a significant risk of not being able to recover from such shocks. Strengthening then the assets base of the farm business and reducing its exposure to risk are key factors to meeting such challenges. Now we are coming to some ways to increase the income of your business. As entrepreneur, farmers will want to make their business more profitable and more sustainable. One way to do this is by capturing values within value chain. This requires greater understanding and knowledge of value chain and their different elements and directions. Some of the best means to capture value chains and stand up to changes are responding to the market, developing contractual relationship with relations with partners, integrating the value chain, cutting costs, broadening management skills, and working in groups. For the aspect of responding to the market, farmers need to take advantage of the market and capture more value by selling their fresh products directly to consumers, selling high-value products such as vegetables for export, for example, producing commodities that are differentiated, such as organic products or protected geographical indication products, or controlled designation of origin product, and other specialized products for limited niche market, producing at a time of the year when other farmers cannot do it might be another way of responding to markets. The second item is developing contracts with your partner. Farmers should consider entering into production, supply, and marketing contracts with other actors of the value chain, like input suppliers, processors, and other traders or agricultural products. Different types of contracts are market-specified contracts or production management contract, where the buyer participates in production management through production process monitoring and specifying inputs to be used. Or the third type of contract is the resource providing contracts, where the buyer supplies key inputs and technical assistance and will exclusively buy the product at a fixed price. Another way to increase your income is to integrate the value chain. Farmer entrepreneur need to become involved in the value chain so they can increase and capture a share of the value being added along the value chain. They need to recognize and evaluate existing opportunities and use connections and contacts to find ways to create linkages with value-adding enterprise. Some value-adding enterprise would include input suppliers like seed, fertilizer, pesticide, and equipment and machinery, handling post-harvest industry, cleaning, cooling, and others, processing post-harvest industry like millers and cooking, curing, drying, and others. Alternatively, the farm entrepreneurs could establish his own business within this value chain. Another way to increase your income is to cut the costs. While keeping the same or better production results, farmer entrepreneurs continuously seek ways to improve efficiency, cut costs, and increase productivity. This could be achieved through a rational use of inputs through precision agriculture tools, changing the production systems to one that is less costly, mechanization of farming operation to cut labor cost, reducing cost of investing in equipment through rental or subcontracting some operations. Another way to increase your incomes would be to broadening your management skills. Farmers, entrepreneurs need to continue increasing their business management skills to meet the demand of increasing complexity as the farm business grows. Beside production technologies, farmers, entrepreneurs need to develop their management skills in marketing, risk management, financial management, and labor management. The last option you have to increase your income will be to work in groups with other farmers. Group entrepreneurship can occur when a group of like-minded farmers are willing to work together on a joint enterprise. Members should have an entrepreneurial spirit and willingness to work together on a joint productivity activity. Group takes full responsibility of the management of the business. Group enterprises are often vulnerable because in terms of education, differences of education, literacy, managerial experience of the members. External support will be needed over a long period of time when we compare it to individual farmers. We come to the general conclusions. To move forward and promote entrepreneurship in agriculture, we suggest taking the following actions. One is to inject entrepreneurial spirit in the agriculture sector, and especially in rural youth. Without really a new mindset for the farmers and their children, you cannot go really far away in entrepreneurship. You have also to think of injecting entrepreneurial spirit in the training schools for engineers and technicians in agriculture, because here you have the chance to have some good technicians and engineers which are already entrepreneurs. You have also third to launch training and capacity building actions in agriculture entrepreneurship with a focus on youth. We have really to teach people, educate them on entrepreneurship in agriculture. The fourth one is to encourage and support access to innovation, adaptation by farmers, so they can really take advantage of the new technologies. The fifth one is to make farmers entrepreneur agent is ready to work on in order to make farmers entrepreneurs agents of changes in order to establish a modern agriculture sector that is productive and a lift of African countries. The farmer really is the key to the whole agriculture system value chain. Last and not least is to engage other national and international stakeholders to support the development of an ecosystem of innovative entrepreneurship in the agriculture sector in Africa. I hope I have covered the important aspect of this topic, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Siliamani. So if anyone has any question, please raise your hand. Yes, Mr. Bolif, please go on.
Okay. I take this opportunity to salute my great friend and colleague and my brother in arms.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Yamani. We have studied together, and we were among the first ones to get out of the country to study pathology. He went to Denmark and I went to the US, and we met again in the same lab, and we have undertaken several actions together. So I would like to thank him for this very interesting presentation. And I would like also to ask him a question. If we consider that the Green Morocco Plan has insufflated a great deal of the entrepreneurial mindset among certain farmers in Morocco, especially the bigger ones that you have talked about, who are highly market oriented, who have good management and profit oriented. This category is small, of course, in Morocco, and we know they are very well known. They are exporters. Now, with the new strategy called the Green Generation, how do you see the future of agribusiness in the rural areas? How do you see it? How do you perceive it as an expert in agriculture with quite a great deal of knowledge? Would it really be a success? And you have covered some of those, some of your suggestions in the last slides to help the development of agribusinesses in rural areas. So I'd like to have your opinion as an expert in the field.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Bolif. When I was really preparing this presentation, I come really across one big question. Really, we are not maybe we are not aware that all of our farmers are entrepreneurs. They are entrepreneurs, but they are not really applying the concepts of entrepreneurship. Why? Because most of the time our farmers are not, they have a non-profitable business. Although he doesn't make profit, he will stay there for years and years. If he has really the spirit of entrepreneurship, he will not stay longer in that place. He will make he will look at the cost and the expenses and the profit. If his business is not profitable, he has to look for something else. But unfortunately, our farmers are not aware that they are that they have to really to consider their businesses as a profitable business. So if one were coming to the green the strategies of green generation or green Morocco, I think we are not really we are more or less looking for new opportunities to have new businesses, but we are not giving enough time and enough energy to the one who are already there. They have already lands, they have already some money, but they are not able really to make a good profit out of it. And I think our problem in Morocco is there. We have really to take care of those who are already there. They have already some capital, they have land, but they are not successful when it comes to making profit. And this is, to my understanding, is not really well understood in our strategies of agricultural development. That's what I can say, Dr. Boulif.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, my mic was muted. Thank you very much. What do you think if we have to encourage the entrepreneurship mindset among students in universities and engineering school? What would you recommend? What are the disciplines that you would recommend for us as teachers and educators in the field to promote agricultural entrepreneurship?
Yes, first we have really to include some specific modules, training modules in our courses. They are not there. When it comes, for example, all what's accounting for le compte d'exploitation, for example. No one is talking about it. We have really to think, all of us, we have to think and develop really courses and modules for this kind of mindset. We have to work it on it. I don't have something already ready, but I think there is a need to start including such courses in our schools in order to have people coming out of the schools with already some motivation to go to entrepreneurship, which is not the case at this point of time.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Boulif, for your question. We have another question from Mohammed Ashraf. Please go on.
Hello, sir. I want to thank you for the presentation. My question is, first of all, if we take into consideration the three groups of farmers, we can see that the most economically viable and the most sustainable approach is the market-oriented one, which is mainly used by big farmers. My question is, how can we improve our market access? Not only for big farmers, but for medium and small farmers, and to not only sell in the national markets, but also in the African markets and the European and the American, since we have very interesting free trade agreements. How can we manage to assess the demand in the African countries or European countries and match the national production offer, which is the small farmers ones, to this demand?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. For the medium or small farmers, most of the time who have the ability to be market oriented. Those people, they will need some first to increase their capacity of production. Either they should have some larger lands to make their business. They will need also some funding support. They need money to really to put together or what he should do when it comes to production. And also they need to be helped in finding a market because they cannot do it as such. They are not strong enough to reach those markets and take advantage of them. So for this, if you really want to help the small farmers or the medium farmers to be profitable businesses, you need to put some special help program for them and be with them for some time until really they were able to fly by their own. So we need the government or the policy makers or the public sector should be there to help them and to put together some good programs to do it. When it comes to international markets, we all are aware that this is quite an issue which, if the government or the policy makers are not involved, they cannot really do a good job in this aspect. So for the small and medium, we should have some help for them. That's it.
So thank you. I just want to add, what are the, in your opinion, what needs to be done by the public, by the public institutions or the civil society, in order to capitalize on these international markets? Because I
Yes,
believe that
international.
if we start by the market, all the financing and the aggregation part of all the capacities that we need to sell can be handled. But if we start from the end, I think all the banks can be able to lend money for someone who has already a market that is going to respond to.
Yes, international markets will need quality products and also big quantities of the products. Small quantities will not go. So in order to assure that, you need to find some kind of either aggregations or grouping of farmers and gathering them in order to produce for international market. Small farmers by individual farmers will not do it. So if the government is to help, really is to bring these people together and also give them the means to and to know how to produce good quality product and make sure that the products are really sold on the market and the benefit coming back to the farmers. This is you have to put together a setup where everybody is there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for your interest. Thank you, Professor Yemeni, for your answers.
Thank you very much, Manal.
Yes, thank you very much for your valuable participation in today's webinar. And see you all next week, inshallah, in another webinar. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, أستاذ أحمد. شكرا.
Have a nice day, sir.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.